All right, gentlemen, here we go with topic 4, and it's the second, I guess you could say, Two Noobs tournament, Best Philadelphia Athlete. Of course, we had a great time, but 2 episodes back, episode 84, we crowned Brian Dawkins the NovaCare champion. We're going to flash the current Elite Eight on screen. It's just only going to show Brian, but this one is really going to be cool. This one is going to be the Philadelphia Phillies and the Philadelphia Philly bracket, Best Philly,
Yep.
coming out of there. And this is going to be the
You should
Clearwater.
clarify that it's not going to be the best Philly. There are 2 brackets for each team.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
one
exactly.
of the
That will eventually become the best Philadelphia Philly at the end in the Final Four.
Right.
That kind of a deal.
Yes.
But yeah, to kind of give you a little bit of a brief recap, how we're running this tournament. We have basically John, Steve, and I basically went through a ranker.com listing, and then we basically resorted and pulled out players that starred in the city for their team from 1983 on, and produced in the field. So it could have been like multiple All-Star appearances, championships they may have won, MVPs if they were Hall of Famers, stuff like that.
3 years.
How popular they were in the city and with us as well. So all that was kind of mixed together. We debated it back and forth, came up with a top 16 for each team, and we're doing a tournament to eventually crown the best Philadelphia athlete of the 3 of us.
and as
So
John
kind of a
said,
cool
had to
term.
be minimum of 3 years of
Yeah,
service.
minimum of 3
3
years.
years of service, right?
The only thing, if there is one, which I don't think there is one, but if there was one that made it, it was because of like multiple MVPs.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so
People
some
will be
people
higher because they produced more.
Mm-hmm.
some people who played more than 3 years after 83, but their primes were pre-83,
Mhm.
like they were finishing out their career, we
Yeah.
typically excluded because the end of their
Exactly.
careers weren't very productive typically.
Great
Yeah.
example of that would be a Gary Maddox and a Steve Carlton. I mean,
Yes.
that was the kind of thing that we grew up. Steve Carlton was definitely on the downside of his career, but we left
Yeah.
him off because obviously he was much better in the early '80s. when
Before
we
I
were-
was born.
Before Steve was even born, for crying
We
out loud.
used Steve's birth date exactly.
No,
Put a
83,
stake.
not 81. I was born in
83, yeah.
81.
There
I
you
know.
go.
That's
There you
funny. Just put a stake right there. Like if Steve didn't see you, you're out.
You didn't
Exactly.
exist.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started, guys. What do you say? We go with the first
do it.
round here. So this is of the Clearwater region of the Philadelphia Philly, best Philly bracket.
This is Matt, by the way. This is all Matt. Matt put this whole thing together. All
John-
those wonderful names.
Love it. So Johnny, let's go ahead and start with you first.
All right, go
We
for
got the number 12 seed Roy Halladay
it. Ooh.
going against the 5 seed Scott Rowland.
Ooh. Damn.
Yeah,
Damn.
Scott Rowland or Roy Halladay.
Man, Scott was good.
This is hard. I mean, because you got probably really
The
one of
fans-
the better third basemen.
Yeah, but the fans didn't like him.
Yeah.
Hindsight, we all like him. But God, if he was on the 08
Oh. We also made the point that if he was on the 09 team, we'd probably win that World Series against the Yankees.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go,
His beef was with ownership.
our beef was with ownership.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is that's what I mean. Hindsight, man, Scott Rowland was a gem to have here.
And then of course you got Roy.
I gotta go Roy
Wow.
because of the perfect game and the no hitter.
And the no hitter in the same year. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta go with that because there are two. Like I can tell you maybe a Scott story, maybe 2 Scott stories, but I'm telling my grandkids about the perfect game and the no hitter in the playoffs.
And where you were and all that.
Exactly. Like I remember exactly where I was.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Wow. Yeah, I remember the no hitter against the Cincinnati Reds. That was unbelievable. Seems like Cincinnati always gets no hit. You know, it's
Good.
not like
Good for
no
them.
hit or they lose no hitters. It's crazy. But Steve, we're going to go to you. And so we got the 8 seed Bobby Abreu
Ooh,
against
that's
the
a good
9 seed Bryce Harper.
Ooh.
Right fielders galore here. Bobby or Bryce?
And We determined, didn't we, that like Bobby was a 300 hitter while he was
Yeah.
with the Phillies, didn't
Yeah.
we? Which is impressive. He famously won that home run derby the one year by like hitting, I think it was a then record number in
Yep.
some round.
And then went to
It
shit.
she just kept hitting him, like they just kept going and going, and then he hit like crap the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Just FYI, he batted .303
Yep.
for the Phillies in 9 seasons. To
Yep.
give you an idea.
That's impressive.
195 195 home runs with 814 RBI. 303 hitter.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
But we got Bryce.
But we got Bryce, and I have to push Bryce through because what Bryce is doing is
MVP. Probably
MVP.
probably the best hitter in baseball at this time.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough to find somebody that is having these last 2 seasons that he's having.
Yeah, and even his first, I mean, 2020 season obviously was a bit of a bust just because of the length of time, but you know, he had that walk-off grand slam against the Cubs. He's had some monster hits. He's been everything as advertised and probably better.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
That's
have to
actually
push him
good.
through with a good old John Kruk. Oh my God!
Wasn't that one of the greatest calls ever?
Yes.
I was replaying that today, actually, just hearing
Nice.
that call again. It shocked Kruk. It really did. It shocked him. Completely shocked him.
Can I tell a story that I've told you guys a million times, but I want to tell all the listeners?
Go for it.
So the Bryce Harper for me is one of the greatest things ever. So when I'm not watching a game, or when I'm watching a game, it comes up on Instagram when he hits a home run, and I literally just hold my phone towards my wife, and she goes, "Harper hit another home run." She's a baseball fan, but she's not sitting there watching with me, but she can tell Bryce Harper's home runs to everybody else's home runs.
They sound different.
They just sound different. And she taught me that. And I still do it to this day. It's been 3 years at this point. I still will just hold up the phone, and it's like just that sound.
And boys, thank God for the DH this year, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because he would have been having Tommy John surgery. I don't know if anybody knows that, but
he hasn't
care.
He hasn't stopped playing at his level from last year. He has
No.
not. He just continues to pound
No,
the ball.
you don't need that, but you don't need that portion of your elbow to hit a baseball, apparently.
Nope.
If you're Bryce Harper.
If you're Bryce Harper. Yeah, exactly.
But to throw it at 175 miles an hour into the catcher as a dead strike, you need that.
You need that, yeah. So, Steve, we're going to stay with you in the first round here. We have the 16 seed Jim Thome going against the number 1 seed Michael Jack Schmidt. And if you're going to see, I'm going to put up his photo here on screen alongside Jim Thome. And Michael Jack has the beautiful powder blue Philadelphia Phillies logo. I mean, it is absolutely iconic uniform. Love it. What do you think, Steve? Number 1 seed Mike Schmidt or Jim Thome, the 16 seed?
Well, allow me a minute to just laud Jim Thome, who was the marquee signing in what, 03?
Yeah.
Yep.
Opened Citizens Bank Park.
Toward the ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe hit the
Or the
first home
ballpark
run
with
in
the
Citizens
with
Bank
the hard
Park.
hat. He embraced us just as much as we embraced him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ushered in kind of the new, because we were a place where free agents didn't want to come to.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first one, and we didn't want to pay either. That was the other big problem. He was the first one to show, like, all right, we're going to open the checkbook. We're going to bring somebody in here who can change this team. And he did. Wasn't here as long as I had remembered him being.
That's true.
Matter of fact, I thought he was actually kind of on the bubble for cutsies. Just because Brian Howard supplanted him at first base. But Jim Thome, and great individual, like human being.
Oh, yeah.
Jim Thome.
Absolutely.
All that being said, you do not advance Jim Thome ahead of Mike Schmidt.
No.
Yeah.
So let's just get that out of the way. Mike
Let's just
Schmidt.
get
And I would like to just love on Jim Thome for a little bit.
Go for it, John.
When I went across the country in 2012, I had to stop in Cleveland because because that's where he's from. That's where he made his bones. They had a statue of him put in the ballpark. I had to go. I had to take pictures with it. Like, I love Jim Thome a lot. He's not Michael Jack Smith, but I had to travel like out of my way driving back home just so I could stop to see that statue, because what a hell of a man Jim Thome is.
Yeah, exactly. Michael Jack, I think, is probably just one of the I mean, I grew up idolizing him.
Everybody remembers the
Everybody
500th.
remembers him. Yeah, exactly.
Everybody remembers the retirement.
Yep.
He was a better third baseman than he was a hitter.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people, like the young people, don't know about him. He was a damn good third baseman. Look him up.
He was a hell of a hitter. He was a great power hitter for his time back then. Feared hitter back then. So, John, we're going to finish out the first round for you, and we've got the 4 seed Ryan Howard, big piece,
my boy,
going up against probably the best Rule 5 draftee the Phillies ever had, 13 seeded Shane Victorino.
2 of my favorite. I've met both of these dudes.
Oh, wow.
I had drinks with both of these dudes. Shane Victorino is probably the nicest human being I've ever met. All of 4'3" of him. He's a tiny man. Which I love Shane. I follow him on Twitter. He loves baseball. Love Shane Victorino.
Just love it. Yeah.
Simply, Big Daddy.
Yeah, the big piece. Yeah.
The piece.
Yeah. The guy that if we don't have him in the lineup, we don't win the World Series. That kind of
If he did what he did in those 6 years, in 12 years, he's a bona fide Hall of Famer. We don't talk about anybody else.
Yeah.
He's the greatest Philly of all time. If what he did in those 6 years did in 12 years, game over. Like, that dude was phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think you could.
Yeah. Big Daddy was my man. That's my man.
Love it. All right, so John, staying with you, we're going into the second round here, and this is going to be a very fascinating matchup for you. You've got the 9 seed Bryce Harper going against Michael Jack. Who comes out of that second round matchup? Bryce?
That's tough.
No pressure.
Yeah, that's tough. Like, literally the future.
I'm glad this isn't me.
Yeah, the future of the Phillies and the
past of
the Philly.
Yeah.
Like the Philly. Like they say, he does commentary.
Yeah.
On Sundays.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no. I mean, he's got to play golf. I ain't gonna shit on the man because he's got to play golf 5 days a week. Like, he paid his bones.
Yeah. So
he's not like Trucker where he has to prove himself.
Yeah. I mean,
by the way, get well wishes to John Kruk.
Yes. Love John Kruk. John Kruk is
gallbladder out or something like that.
Oh, okay. Is that okay?
Yeah. John Kruk's a fucking amazing human being. He should be there should be a fucking statue for him.
No doubt.
Love John Kruk.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, but so what are you thinking there? But what do you think, Bryce or?
I was born in '78.
Okay.
What do you want, a cookie?
No, I just want to get, like, I got in my time I got to see a lot of Schmidt.
Yep.
Stop
there's
dodging
there's also a tattoo.
Oh, there you go, Pop.
Of the '80s.
This is hard. Yeah.
Harper's a better player, career-wise.
Okay.
Not Philly-wise. I'm just saying.
But
and Schmidt has said this over and over again. Harper's a better player. But who's a better Philly?
Yeah. Yeah.
Schmitty goes.
Schmitty goes in. Okay.
Schmitty goes.
Yeah.
The better Philly, longer.
Bear in mind, the '80 championship doesn't count.
He won us a chip.
That doesn't count. Doesn't count.
83 on. But yeah,
he won us a chip.
Yep.
Doesn't count.
Well, okay, so it doesn't count, but I'll give him, he went to a chip in '83 when it does count. So he was trying to win us multiple chips.
Championships. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be Schmitty. Over 500 home runs.
Can't go wrong with that.
Best third baseman
the team has ever had. Yeah.
the team has ever had, and might be top 5 third baseman ever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Bona fide Hall of Famer. Like, he was.
And Bryce is still, I mean, he will be in.
He's a Hall of
Cooperstown, but
Famer.
it's going to take time.
He's the best goddamn thing I've seen in a long time. His career-wise, he's better than Schmidt, but Philly-wise, he's just getting started.
Yeah. Couldn't disagree with you. And so for Steve, closing out the second round, Roy Halladay, the 12 seed, going up against the big piece, Ryan Howard, the 4.
Oh.
Look, this is not a Barry Zito or Mark Mulder Oakland Athletics jersey here. Okay.
Yeah.
This is
Mark McGuire, baby.
Big Mac.
Yeah.
We love the long ball here in Philadelphia. Look, Roy Halladay had an amazing 2 years here, but his last 2, he kind of fell off a cliff.
Yes,
sure did. Yeah.
Like, and with the decline, this was not a gradual, this was a steep drop in performance.
Yeah.
So yes, the no-hitter and the perfect game we'll always talk about, but Ryan Howard was better longer.
Yes.
And if he doesn't snap his Achilles tendon at the end of the Cardinals series in 2011, maybe we make the playoffs more recently than 2011.
True.
So we're Ryan Howard's going through.
There you go. All right.
Agreed.
Great pick. Can't go wrong with that. All right, gents. Well, this is going to be very interesting. You have, for the Clearwater Regional Championship here, you've got Mike Schmidt or Ryan Howard. The 1 versus the 4. So this is going to be very, very interesting as I make my selection here. Who would you pick if you're listening to this as the guys will make their selections? Okay, got one for Steve and still waiting on John. But yeah, it's really, really interesting to see what we got. But surprisingly, I guess, it's a pleasant surprise. Unanimous selection. Michael Jack Schmidt is your Clearwater.
Why is this a surprise?
That's not a surprise.
I think it was only because Ryan Howard was like relatively new, like in terms of our lifetime. We grew up with Ryan Howard. We saw him play his entire career
but
here.
we love Ryan Howard.
We really do, yeah.
Putting Mike Schmidt through, and I bet you, sitting Ryan Howard in this commune, he'd be like, "Good choice, guys." Like,
yeah.
It's not a shot at any of these guys. That's the biggest thing. If Michael Jack's in a bracket, he probably needs to get out of it. Because he was that damn good.
He was that damn good, yeah.
Well, exactly. Just to go back around, I mean, John agonized over Harper versus Schmidt. I love Bryce Harper, but he's not getting in over Schmidt at this point in his career.
No, absolutely not. And that's why I went Schmidt, but there were some points I wanted to make because I love Bryce Hart. Like, I love Bryce Hart.
Well, the same thing I made about Howard over Halladay in terms of like length. Like, Schmidt's career was better longer than Howard's was.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right? So, that to me is a huge.
If Bryce was a full-time Philly from his rookie year on, he would have ran right through that bracket.
Probably, you could make an argument. He'd be one of the top.
That's what I was trying to say with that. Like, I think his career was better, but he wasn't a Philly for that long.
No.
So best Philly. If he's a full-time Philly from 19 or 18 or wherever the fuck he started, till now, like putting on what he's putting on now, Jesus, he's the greatest thing we ever saw.
Yeah. But yeah, once again, guys, great job with this. So we're going to flash up, of course, our Elite 8 bracket here, and of course, joining Brian Dawkins, Mike Schmidt on the Two Noobs tournament bracket here. So it's going to be great as we make our way.
Sounds legit.
In a couple weeks, episode 88. Spoiler alert, is going to be with the Flyers. So,
oh my God, I'm shocked.
I wonder
what
why.
a shock. I wonder who's going to be in that tournament. I have no idea.
My God. I don't even know who's
whatsoever.
Coming out of it.
So stay tuned for that. It should be a lot of fun.